Someone is furious that someone hurt people. Someone defensively explains they attacked first. Soldier wonders who the aliens are, noticing there were only injuries, no deaths. Alien finds it odd they're being made to look like the bad guys. Soldier. Even more surprised when an alien starts healing their wounds. Realizing the aliens aren't hostile, he asks if they came to invade. The alien reveals their planet was devastated. They tried to steal Earth's oceans, but something shifted when he looked at the night sky. He urged to stop fighting. He pointed at the stars, wanting the other to see. Child, showing the vastness of space. Explained that there are billions of Earth-like planets in their galaxy alone, emphasizing the sheer scale of it all. A wide-eyed boy with bandages, seemingly shocked, mutters, 40 billion? He asks another kid if that's more than grains of rice in a bowl, and he confirms it is. The boy concludes there must be aliens. Under a starry sky, the bandaged boy wonders hopefully if they could become friends. Time leaps forward 5 years to a schoolyard in Korea where someone asks the class president if they've heard something about 2 schoolgirls gossiped about a local murder, blaming aliens. Red hair girl was skeptical. Green hair girl quickly show news on a phone, proving aliens were disguised among them, causing chaos and fear. Public anxiety escalated as attacks continued, and the government seemed suspiciously quiet, revealing an alien had confessed to being from another planet. The girl with the phone struggled to recall the planet's name. It was Kudum. Third black hair boy appears. He told the girls the name was Kudum. He told them about a distant 24 million light years from Earth. Planet was very similar to Earth. 2 girls react with amazement. The first girl notices a boy laughing to himself. They find his interest in aliens creepy, especially since he always chimes in whenever the topic comes up. They gossip about him being lonely and possibly crazy because his parents aren't around. One girl dismisses him as pitiful. The other agrees it's best to avoid him. The boy walks away alone. The redhead looks pensive. He walks down the street, engrossed in a video about identifying aliens among humans. The video suggests extreme measures, sparking concerned and humorous online comments. He reads a comment about simply smashing their heads, a dark thought echoing in her mind. Suddenly, someone calls out, "Hey!" Startled, he looks up to find another girl approaching. The newcomer questions his intense focus on his phone, she muttering, "I told you to wait." Embarrassed, he tries to hide the phone. Dropping his phone in a panic, she whispers a flustered, "Teo Sol." Now furious, the other girl explodes, demanding to know why his name is so unusual. A group admires someone's impressive remodeling work. Yurim shows off some newly learned jujitsu moves. He explains his unusual name is a gift from her parents. Girl finds the name hilarious and outrageous. The girl sympathizes with Teosol's plight, jokingly vowing revenge on her parents. Someone sarcastically apologizes, reminding another about something they can't bring because they dead. The boy groans in frustration. He sighs dramatically, clearly annoyed by a recurring situation. A creepy grin spreads across his face. A girl confronts someone asking if they're laughing. She presses further, demanding an answer. She kicks him, scolding them for acting crazy. The girl kicks him again, explaining she beats him up because his behavior is infuriating. A boy chuckled darkly, finding his own name amusing. He seemed oddly comfortable with some harsh treatment, thinking his name Cha Teosal suited his perfectly. He asked his brother if he agreed, then reminisced about him, Cha Haisol, whose name meant sea breeze. He meant plankton floating on it. Fondly remembered his brother teaching him about the stars. He didn't mind the comparison. Brother looked like their parents, he didn't. A seemingly perfect, adored child, Cha Haisol, is gone from this world. Someone is daydreaming and laughing, unfazed. Others whisper about the boy's strange obsession with aliens and a video about Kudum. One person, skeptical of the Kudum hysteria, doesn't believe it's real, but the girl in her thoughts insists the Kudum is real. She's seen them. A hardened, bruised Cha Haisol appears, cradled in someone's arms. Someone angrily accuses a woman of abandoning her brother. The accuser condemns her, saying she'll be alone forever. The scene shifts to a young girl, her expression haunted. A sharply torn voice speaks. She remembers her parents, murdered and grotesquely stretched out. Another voice confirms her grim memory. On the day her family was killed by the Kudoem people, she alone survived. A girl wakes up disoriented, realizing she'd briefly fainted. Relieved, she celebrates surviving another day. She then noticed someone, a woman recognizing her as the class president. The class president claims to have followed her out of concern, saying she saw her being bullied. The black-haired girl, clearly skeptical, scoffs at the weak excuse. The girl with dark hair demanded her phone back from the redhead. The redhead, smirking, questioned her about her interest in Kudum characteristics. She admitted it was just for fun, asking if the other girl liked aliens. The redhead simply replied, no. Excitedly, the dark-haired girl revealed that Kudums can disguise themselves as humans. She explained it's like how octopuses and chameleons blend in. This meant there's no way to tell them apart. Creepy. The Teosel found this thrilling, wondering if any were near them. Unfazed, the redhead remained uninterested, while Teosel revealed there is the way how recognize them. Kudums have pink blood. The dark-haired girl, splattered with pink, noted her companion's blood was also pink, despite being unable to tell externally. A bloody hand reached out. A chilling sight. Redhead girl, also bloodied, confirmed the pink hue. Suddenly, the dark-haired girl realized the unsettling silence. A gruesome scene of carnage was revealed, bodies scattered across the ground. The dark-haired girl, now alone, knelt amidst the bloodshed, a grim expression on her face. A wide shot revealed more of the horrific aftermath, and then the girl again, small and vulnerable in the vast, silent space. A menacing figure asks if she is finally regaining their senses. A sinister, red-eyed character greets her with a chillingly cheerful, "Nice to meet you." The red-eyed figure threatens to cut off her breath. Shatanther, about to fulfill a dark desire to encounter the Kudum people, Teosal lets out a startled gasp. A classroom clock ticks, hinting at unease. The teacher, ruler in hand, asks the class if they're aware of the recent disturbing events. A student confirms, and another raises a hand, nervously inquiring about rumors of aliens killing people, prompting laughter from a masked classmate. A teacher tells the class to stop gossiping about unconfirmed rumors and dismisses them early for safety. He warns them not to wander off or slack at home because midterms are coming. One student celebrates the early dismissal and no night study hall. Another teases him about skipping cram school, too. A cheerful guy asked Sanho if he was heading to the PC Cafe. Sanho, looking studious, declined, opting for more studying first. His friend urged him to relax and play a bit, pointing out his unbeatable grades. Sanho simply stated that the classroom helps his concentration. He packs up his things, seemingly ready to leave. Cheerful guy jokingly warns his friend about walking home alone at night, teasing him about a Kudum person. The friend laughs it off, assuring him he'll be gone before dark. A quick glimpse at a phone screen shows it's almost 9:50 p.m. A bespectacled young man, bundled in a scarf, looked surprised at his phone, muttering, "Really?" He then thought to himself, "I should have gone inside before it got dark." As he stood before a building, a bespectacled guy noticed the unusual quietness outside. Suddenly, recollects in his memory his friend, who makes a goofy face and sticking out his tongue and talking about Kudum people. He found it hard to concentrate, earlier because of the noise and sirens. He wondered if there was a fire nearby. Walking down the street, he pondered going to school early, as his teacher had suggested. Suddenly, he was startled, dropping his book and shielding his face. The bespectacled guy clutched his notebook, refusing something, worried about his pace. He muttered that he always goes at this time anyway, a hint of defiance in his tone. He wondered aloud what could possibly go wrong as he walked down the street. Suddenly, a powerful, unseen force throws some girl violently to the ground. The bespectacled man stares intensely, seemingly stunned, at something out of frame. The girl fell backward, a terrified scream escaping her lips. A shadowy figure looms, declaring they've been ordered to bring Cha Taeosal in. She expresses surprise, realizing the person she seeks is the kid he'd heard about. She is challenged tonight. Stop feigning weakness. The figure hints at an ultimatum. Or, leaving the situation hanging in suspense, the redhead, with a smug look, taunted Cha Taeosal about enjoying getting beaten up. She followed up with a suspicious comment about their target's smile. Cha Teosol, bruised and sporting a strained smile, snapped back a denial, claiming it's just his face. He then challenged the redhead, demanding to know what she was talking about, and with confidence declared he had been mistaken for someone else. A disembodied voice quickly refuted his claim. The redhead girl then delivered a swift, powerful blow, their momentum clearly visible, surprising a boy nearby. A punch whizzes past, accompanied by an "oh." He thinks it's dangerous as he dodged the speeding punch, making conclusions that if he gets hit, he'll die. In the airborne, he thinks, worried, about the consequences of a direct hit. The redhead girl seems to land a powerful blow, shattering. "Wall," a terrified guy muttered while looking at his phone. He nervously decided to report something, calling it crazy. Suddenly, his phone screen went haywire with static. Confused and scared, he wondered what was happening. Heavy footsteps approached him from behind. A tense encounter unfolds between two figures. The bespectacled guy reacts nervously, a slight gasp escaping his lips. Cha Teosol, looking exhausted, mischievous grin calls out to someone using an unusual nickname. Cha Teosol is surprised two enemies are after him, feeling unexpectedly popular. He crashes to the ground, pondering her newfound specialness and past life as an ordinary person. A shadowy figure menacingly vows to kill Cha Teosol, while the girl argues against killing her, reminding his companion of the order to bring her in alive. Finally, the focus shifts to a young girl with a determined look, who skillfully evaded all of their attacks. Despite her seemingly vulnerable appearance, a menacing figure looms, remembering their boss's warning. The figure's eye focuses on a smaller, distant girl, wondering if she's the infamous Quasar's kid. Chilling realization hits. This girl shouldn't be underestimated. With a determined glare, the red-haired woman braced herself. Suddenly, her left arm began to transform, crackling with crimson energy. Celestial energy surged, reshaping her arm into a powerful, otherworldly weapon. A startled guy with glasses recoils from scene he's spectating. A powerful red and somewhat sinister presence declares that the primordial god Kunu has given them orders. A chilling command echoes, wage war and annihilate the enemy, overwhelming everything. With the power to control stars, Redhead's eyes blaze with a terrifying otherworldly light with crimson crystal hand. A crimson, fiery energy explodes with the powerful swing, and the guy, with glasses, gasped, covering his mouth in shock. A dark-haired person looked on with a grim, almost sinister expression. Suddenly, a blazing, fiery celestial body filled the scene, hinting at impending disaster. A surge of fiery celestial power explodes across the scene. A solar explosion erupted, engulfing a lone figure. Silence. The figure groaned in pain. A fierce, red-faced girl lunges, striking someone with incredible speed. The other person recoils from the blow, surprised. The red-haired attacker stares down, a sinister grin spreading across her face. Realization comes to her mind that she's definitely not ordinary. Startled gasp escapes Cha Teosol as the redhead attacks. The redhead's eyes flash dangerously. Cha Teosol recoils in terror. The redhead unleashes a powerful glowing strike. A powerful force blasts through a brick wall, leaving a gaping hole. Dust settles, and a hushed whisper echoes. Gone? The redhead, looking shocked, stares at the empty space. A sizzling sound suggests she's disappearing. A phone lay on a table, beeping with no connection. A voice stepped on a phone announced a human survivor. Kudum Guy grabbed the bespectacled man by the throat, calling him lucky in a menacing tone. The Xiao. Bespectacled Guy panicked, realizing his cover was blown. Kudum Guy grabbed him by the throat, shocking him with their strength. Realizing the attacker was not human. One muttered in disbelief. He's troubled. Something's weighing heavily on his mind. He admits there's so much he doesn't understand. Cha Teosol bites him. He screams in terror, his face contorted in pain. The long-haired guy seemed surprised, stumbling back. A pained yell echoed as they collapsed. Coughing roughly, the bespectacled guy struggled, who looked down with a crazed, almost gleeful expression. Figure tumbles dramatically, landing with a creepy, amused, "Hey, ha ha." The attacker, with a chilling grin, recognizes the fallen student as Baek Sanho, the top student. He taunts Sanho, calling him a persistent bastard for being at school so late and getting involved in this kind of thing. Finally, he threatens Sanho, saying he doesn't know the value of his own life. The bespectacled Sanho looks terrified, gasping in shock. Cha Tiosol said that he saved Guy, so he must return favor. The guy, terrified, wonders how they're supposed to handle this. The monstrous figure looms larger, menacingly labeled a monster. Cha Tiosol announces an impromptu biology lesson with an intense stare. A fight erupts, man trying to pull away from the biting, shouting in anger. Cha Tiosol explains that humans and Kudum people are essentially the same, both animals trying. To reassure Sanho, his expression sharpens as he emphasizes that the Kudum's weaknesses mirror humanity's. He looks shocked, perhaps by a sudden realization. The boy picked up a pen from the floor and with all his might swung it and stabbed it into the alien's eye. There was a wild cry of pain from the monster. Sanho ordered the girl to run as fast as possible. Talsari noted the guy had a cool idea, but he preferred not to discuss it now. The red-skinned woman was determined and couldn't let the girl escape as they needed her. She got into a fighting stance, summoning the power of Solar's heavenly bodies. The Kudum girl fired an explosive projectile from her hand. The fiery bullet whizzed through the air. Talsari's face contorted into a manic grin. The sharp projectile hit her right in the back and she fell to the ground. Seeing the blood on her hands, the girl ironically thought she had dodged all the blows, but the last one still hit. Kneeling with a serious wound, Talsari couldn't believe she was going to die like this. Her mouth began to bleed and her eyes began to close. But she kept reassuring herself that she would definitely survive. Sanko kept running. He turned around to look at Talsari, but out of fear he couldn't stop and only shouted, "I'm sorry." As she fell to the ground, the girl began to faint and closed her eyes. She made a wish from the alien that day. Sitting on her knees in front of the mysterious creature, she asked it to kill her, and asked why she was the only one left alive. After all, everyone called her trash, and why a lowlife like her was left alive instead of her brother. The alien woman was surprised and asked, indeed, why no one noticed the girl since she had such a light in her eyes. She leaned over to Talsari, stroked her, and told her that she had chosen her. From now on, her life belongs to her brother, and she has no right to die, and ordered her to cherish the life of her beloved brother. The red-skinned woman approached Talsari's body and said that they were ordered to bring her alive, but she lies dead on the ground. A pity, of course, but nothing can be done. The appendage has been captured, which means the first phase of the plan has been accomplished. The red-haired woman took her human form again. Noting that this had gone too easily, she was about to leave, but Talsari began to rise. Hearing sounds behind her, the alien froze. Rising, Talsari said that she could not die. This was no longer her life, and now she could never lose her life. The redhead looked at the girl fearfully. After everything Talsari had been through, she had no right to die. A vortex of cosmic energy opened up in space. The redhead watched as the black hole's energy filled Cha Tiosol's body with power. The girl's wound disappeared, leaving only a trail of blood. The Kudum girl was shocked by the girl's abilities and prepared to attack. She realized that she had been warned. The object was an unusual person. Looking up into the dark sky, Teosol remembered that her brother Chahesol had done the same thing. He had told her to look for constellations in times of trouble. With an icy smile, she remembered the starry night sky, which now contrasted sharply with the current darkness. The redhead wondered if she was imagining it all, confused and unsure of what to do. The girl, continuing to stare into the dark sky, said that just because you can't see the stars doesn't mean they don't exist. She added that the stars are always with her. Cha Teosol recalled her childhood. Her mother pushes her into a dark room, yelling that the girl is a talentless creature. She yells at the girl for calling her mom. The woman also orders her not to look at her with those creepy eyes. Teosol's younger brother whispered to her that he would let her out later, and if she got bored, let her look at the stars. Throw. Girl's childhood was hell. Always when the family sat down at the table, the girl was not called. She sat alone in the dark room and decided to go out to the balcony to look at the stars as Chahesol had advised her. Feeling isolated and alone, she sought solace by looking at the stars. When the world wanted her to disappear, starlight gave her solace. Lost in the vastness of space, she found peace in the twinkling lights above her head. Cha Teosol believed that somewhere out there, among the stars, another being like her must exist. The next day, the woman praised Hezol for his intelligence, mentioning that she sometimes thought he was her own son. Hessal was glad that he had a mother. Excitedly, he showed her the drawing. Intrigued, she bent down to take a closer look at the family portrait. It showed a happy family of 4. The woman was looking at the drawing and asked the boy why there were 4 people. The boy looked at his mother and realized what was wrong. His hand tore the child's drawing, separating the figure of the girl from the rest of the family. Joy enveloped the woman. She praised the boy for knowing how to win the love of adults. Teosol looked on sadly while her brother was enveloped in love. The girl sat on the balcony and couldn't understand whether her brother had done it on purpose. She thought about her mom hating her. Holding a piece of the drawing in her hands, Talsari consoled herself that it didn't matter. What mattered was that she was together with the stars. Chatiosol, continuing to look up at the sky and smiling, mumbles that she felt a little sad. Girl with red hair felt like something bad was about to happen. The darkness seemed to be drawing her in. She ordered herself to remain calm. Deciding to increase her distance and attack, she made a dash backwards. Teosol looked sharply at the alien, startling her, and asked with a smile, "Where are you going? You were going to kill me, weren't you?" Fear enveloped the redhead. She saw, before her, a large, dark female figure with an oxygen mask and glowing, empty eyes. She stood behind Teosol as if protecting her. The girl herself had activated a small black hole in her hands. The redhead couldn't understand what it was. It seemed to her that she was at a safe distance from the girl. But Teosol activated her powers and began to pull Kudum towards her. The redhead couldn't resist this attraction. Then the 2 girls were very close to each other. With a smile, Teosol swung and delivered a crushing blow, throwing the redhead away from herself. The Kudum girl couldn't believe such power. Her Clicon cracked. But Talsari was not going to stop. She activated the black hole again and began to attract the enemy. The girl was filled with rage and happiness. She gathered all her power and directed it at the redhead. A powerful force burst out. A line of energy radiated with great speed. Chatiosol was breathing heavily, but also began to laugh. She painfully held onto the arm from which the cosmic force had just burst out and sat down on the ground, in Dai. In front of her, pressed into the ground, lay a red-skinned woman. She coughed up pink blood and couldn't believe that an ordinary person could control the power of celestial bodies. She also caught a glimpse of Quasar behind the girl's back for a moment. The red-skinned woman began to rise and asked the girl how she could use this power. Teosol started laughing, saying only that she was no ordinary girl, adding that she could hardly be called ordinary. The red-haired girl was lying on the ground. Her arm had been torn off from a hard blow, which certainly pleased the girl. The red-haired girl wanted to take the smile off the girl's face and revealed the chilling truth. While Teosol was unconscious after the hooligans' attack, they had killed everyone around her. The police, the military, everyone. But the girl was not frightened by this. She only smiled. Suddenly, the silhouette of the second Kudum appeared behind Teosol's back with great speed. Eyes wide open, the girl realized that she had let her guard down. The monster was holding a pen. He was without his human disguise, seized by rage. He clenched his fist, swung, and regretted his earlier restraint. Now, completely out of control, he unleashed his full power with a furious scream. In another part of the world, listening to music and chewing gum, Captain Mint and his team arrived on the scene. The blonde-haired guy looked worried and said that the situation was more complicated than they thought. The girl confirmed that it was very serious. She also commented that this hasn't happened since Commander Quasar disappeared, and now the Kuduma human haters are making their move. They make themselves known in striking form. Over the fire-engulfed ruined city, the target is fixed in the crosshairs. The order to fire is given. A hail of bullets tears outward, flames and chaos everywhere. Someone shouts that they can't stop, firing. Against the backdrop of the fiery city, Kudumek is experiencing the pain of bullets. The soldiers have realized that their bullets are ineffective. A frightened child screams for his mother in the chaos. The blonde woman from the ship says that if the threat is not stopped, society will collapse. Action must be taken. Mint reluctantly rises and tells the crew he's going solo. Putting his gum in his pocket, he adds that it looks like their commander is back. The team is shocked by this statement. The blonde-haired guy can't believe it's possible since the commander is dead. Mint abruptly silences him. He said he sensed her not far from here. Someone used the black hole, or rather the celestial body technique, a power that can destroy everything around it, and added that only Commander Quasar could control such a force. Mint asked Apple's boyfriend to repeat the commander's last order. The man said that their Mars squad should exist peacefully with humans. Mint confirmed this and said that these Kudumians betrayed her will, and now he's going to kill them all. He epically jumps from the plane down with the desire to protect the humans. Against the background of a burning city, a little girl is crying and asking for help. She can't find her mom. Out of nowhere, a man approaches her and asks where her parents are, but the child doesn't answer anything and only cries. The man takes the girl by the hand and offers to take her to a safe place, assuring the little girl that everything will be fine. The girl silently followed the man as her gaze suddenly fell on his hand, which was stained with pink blood. She asked the adult why his blood was so strange. The man's eyes lit up pink. Smiling eerily, he turned to the girl. Half of his face began to take on his true appearance. The child was terrified of the monster. The alien fully assumed his true form and swung his blade at her. Before he struck, he said that he had always hated humans, and now he might not be able to contain his emotions. But something hit the alien on the head with great force. It was Mint, who jumped from the airplane at great speed and landed on the monster, taking his life and saving the girl. The little girl was surprised. Several aliens turned their attention to the loud sound. Mint, getting up from the aliens. Breathless Body said that the dude was unlucky, but it was his own fault. Turning around, the captain saw dozens of angry Kudum rebels who wanted to tear him apart, but he was not frightened, only warned that the others would suffer the same fate. The aliens were furious at such words. One of the monsters was already behind Mint's back, ready to strike hard with a stick. Mint sensed it and started to disappear, saying that the guy had made a mistake. With incredible speed and force from a dozen blows, the aliens were blown to pieces by Mint's powerful and fast attacks. He moved faster than the speed of a bullet. The captain went flying through the chest of one of the aliens, leaving only a huge hole in his chest. Walking through puddles of pink blood, Mint despised his fellow aliens for their brutal attacks on humans. The little girl opened her mouth and looked at her savior. After finishing the mission, Mint contacts his team, telling them it's time for them to meet with the commander of the Mars project, Ms. Quasar, the only one who can end this war and save humanity. A fierce fight was going on in the streets of the city. The alien Hokun was furious. He was ready to strike a powerful blow. Chatiosal was almost powerless and could only watch as she was attacked. The fellow Kudum sent the girl flying with a powerful blow. In midair, the red-skinned woman leaps behind Tyosal's back. The alien hits the girl with a flaming attack. The girl lies on the ground, exhausted. The alien taunts her exhausted opponent, asking why she doesn't use her heavenly power. The monster slaps the girl on the forehead, mocking her weakened state. She inhaled the air heavily. The red-skinned woman told her partner not to relax as the girl could be dangerous. Hokun was sure that this little thing wouldn't do anything to them now, and they could kill her. Cha Teosal grabs the alien's arm with shocking speed. She laughs and says that the aliens don't have the strength to handle her. The girl reminds him that she's not going to die. Hokun is angered by the girl's words and elbows her. The red-skinned woman is surprised by the girl's resilience. Weakened and bleeding, she tells her partner she's leaving and orders him to deal with the girl and deliver the body. Hokun declares that he'll play with his captive some more. The red-haired girl disappears. Sanko was close by. Having gotten a knife, he was ready to help Cha Teosal as she had helped him. He throws a rock at the alien, trying to distract it. Hokun catches the rock and doesn't realize who did it. Sanho abruptly runs out, screaming loudly. He stabs the alien with a knife, which breaks against the monster's body. Hokun recognizes the boy, telling him that it was a waste not to go home. Falling to the ground, Sanho notices that the knife was useless. Despite the failure, he yells for Teosal to attack. The girl activates the heavenly power with her last strength. Hokun can't move as the girl used gravity manipulation to restrain the monster. Sanho runs up to Cha Teosal and orders her to tick rather. The guys hide in a quiet street. Sanho offers to wait for the police and asks if the girl has a phone. Teosal says that the police won't come, and there is no connection. She asks the guy why he came back. The guy apologized for leaving her and that kept him busy. That's why he came back. And besides, she herself said she had to survive, and he wanted to help her do that. That was good for the girl to hear. Sanko began to ask Cha Taeosol if she was human, or one of the aliens. To which the girl didn't know the answer herself. The guy offers to distract the alien one more time, after which Taeosol attacks him and they run away. But she refuses, saying that running away is impossible in her current bad condition. The girl starts coughing up blood and tells the guy that he came back for nothing, and he's only caused her more problems. Sanko was surprised at such gratitude for saving her, but Cha Taeosol said she would have survived without him, and now she has to worry about him too. She had a theory that the guy had fallen in love with her, and that's why he had come back. But Sanko, tapping the girl on the head, said that was nonsense. He just wanted to help her, and if they acted together, they had a chance to defeat the alien and survive. The girl smiled grimly and said that they would die together. Sanho replied that he'd rather die than leave someone he could help, and added that she should not dare to laugh at him. Talsari wanted to apologize as they were interrupted by Hokun. He found them. The alien shouted that he was from a planet where all life had been extinguished and where the trees were as hard as iron. He activates the heavenly power amplification. In his right hand, Hokun delivers a powerful blow with the steel tree. The force of the blow creates a shockwave, debris flying everywhere. The ground shakes as the attack hits Cha Taeosol. The girl lay among the debris exhausted. She was too weak and had almost lost consciousness. She saw her brother again, telling her that he too wanted to live. Cha Taeosol was breathing heavily and could not find the strength to get up. Hokun had already approached her and was ready to deliver one last decisive blow. Sanko watched grimly, probably for the girl's last breath. Talsari thought it was the end. She reasoned what she had lived for her brother or to meet that woman. Remembering the starry sky, she realized all her life she had been waiting for her friend. The alien's powerful hand was a few centimeters from Taeosol's head. Suddenly, the Kudum boy's huge, powerful body was pierced by a light energy beam, throwing him aside. Talsari was surprised. Not far from the battle site, a red-haired girl was walking down the street. She stopped, feeling something strange, familiar. Recognizing the feeling, she said in disbelief, "It can't be." Suddenly a figure appeared, shrouded in billowing smoke. It was Mint. He didn't understand what was going on here. Looking at Cha Taeosol, the captain noticed that it was not his commander Quasar. The exhausted girl looked at her savior, and the only thing she could say was, "Are you my friend?" Amidst the smoke and dust stood Mint. He asked the girl if she was alive, but she remained silent. The captain stepped closer to Cha Taeosol. She muttered something, her voice barely audible. Mint stood opposite her and didn't understand what she was saying. Then the girl barely squeezed out, "Let's be friends." Mint interjected, "Friends?" The captain was shocked. A silence hung in the air before he asked who she was. The wounded girl utters a hesitant, Mint sits down closer to her, takes her face, and once again asks who she is. He repeats his question, this time more insistently, but the girl only moans in pain. He realizes that the blood color is human and she is not an alien. Then he doesn't understand how a human can have heavenly powers. The girl says it is a black hole. She asks, eyes wide with glowing light, if he sees Quasar in her too. Mint, shocked, asks if the girl knew Quasar. Grimly grinning, Cha Taeosol asked if he had come to kill her too. Mint explains that he wants to protect her and promises that they'll figure things out later and maybe even become friends. The captain adds that he doesn't hurt people. Looking at the injured girl, he warns her not to use her powers again, or she will die. The girl reacts with surprise. Mint explains that celestial power is a special gift. It is only given to those chosen by the celestial body. This power combines the energy of the celestial body with the user's own energy. He warns that if the host's energy runs out, you will overload and die. His hand reaches out to the galaxy, emphasizing the cosmic connection. Cha Taeosol mutters to herself that she is connected to the stars. The stomping of heavy boots was heard. Mint turned and saw the standing alien who had survived his attack. The wounded alien says everything inside hurts, demanding to be told what force was used against him. Mint called out to Sanko, who was sitting nearby on the ground, before grabbing Talsari by her clothes and tossing her towards the guy. The guy caught it, to which Cha Taeosal smiled playfully, embarrassing Sanko. The Kudum guy spoke, dropping some knowledge about celestial bodies attracting each other. Standing across from Mint, he told him that their kind, the Kudum, could sense the strength of an opponent. Hoken said that the likes of Mint were almost non-existent in his race. Making a quick dash, the monster marks a difficult battle for himself. Hoken throws a hard punch, but Mint blocks it. The alien recognizes his opponent as squad leader Mars. He doesn't understand why he's still protecting the humans. He scoffs at the fact that if Quasar's will had not been done, things would have been much easier. Suddenly, a powerful blow is heard. Mint grabs the alien by the face and kicks him in the side with brutal force. The Kudum guy coughs, struggling to get up. Mint states that his actions are his own choice. Hoken says that Quasar's death has split their Kudum people. He questions Mint if he is still looking for his commander. If he is, he's a fool, because the man Mint is protecting is proof that Quasar is dead and this child is her legacy. And that means she, along with his boss, is doomed to destroy the Earth. Hokun brings his palms together, beginning to absorb the power. Everyone around them is surprised as they feel this powerful energy. Mint notices that the alien is using celestial energy. It appears to be drawing in the planet's atmosphere. The captain remarks that star power is too much power for one living thing. He tells Cha Taeosal to remember this. A star lends power. Hokun, absorbing the energy, is covered in new armor, crossing his arms in front of him to activate the energy force. The alien unleashes the power of the iron star pressure, attempting to pierce Mint with, but the captain stands calmly and watches the attack moving towards him at high speed. Mint activates his abilities and disappears into the portal. But with great speed, he appears behind the alien's back, passing through him and taking his life, ending this predictable duel. It was an amplified compression that the captain uses, feeding on cosmic power. Amidst the blinding light and alien pieces flying through the air, Captain Mint stood. Cha Taeosal sat on his lap and gazed with rapt attention at her savior, and perhaps, in the future, friend. Looking at Hokun's breathless body, Mint asked ironically, "Is that the best you can do?" Satisfied, pompous, and powerful, he wiped the pink blood from his forehead. "This is Mint Laflante, captain of the 1st Mars Battle Squadron."
To be continued.